of you for your concern and compassion towards the swans in Lake Eola as a whole. Commissioner Sheehan has been our strongest advocate on the swan program over the course of the last 20 years, so I will give her a chance to respond to some of the comments, but I will tell you we're going to take a comprehensive look at everything that goes on. I didn't realize you'd be advocating for us to take the swans out of Lake Eola. That's not my top priority for sure. We've had them here for over 100 years, beginning with, what was Billy's name?
Billy the Swan.
Billy the Swan.
Yes.
That came from Lake Lucerne initially, but he was a mean old guy and had to be separated from some of the others. But he lives on because he's the only stuffed swan that we have over at the History Center. So we obviously have a long history with our beloved swans, and we want to do the right thing by the swans, and we need to evaluate exactly what that might be. Commissioner Sheehan.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and I can't respond to all of the situation, but I just wanted to make a couple comments. We have had swans in the city for 100 years. About 16 years ago, we had a problem with people harming them because they were malnourished from foraging. We weren't feeding them or anything like that. They were just foraging. And people were feeding them bread. They were getting angel wing. They did have a lot of health problems. So 15 years ago, we started the Swan Docent and Roundup. We work with veterinarians, Fish and Wildlife Commission, and experts for the best practices to feed and care for the swans, including annual vet checks, microchipping, vaccination, and feeding them the proper diets. We relied upon volunteers to help us out. In February 2024, we had our first outbreak of avian flu. It killed 15 swans. We sanitized the park and worked with our expert partners to make it safe. Avian flu comes from migratory birds coming into Lake Eola Park. There is no cure. It can be 100% fatal. We took the feeders out at the request of our veterinarian to stop the spread from the birds congregating. The birds were fed by broadcast feeding during this time. We have lost 37 total birds. 29 were mute swans. 4 of those were wild flyers and not part of our flock. Our last swan death was January 21st. Our current swan flock stands at 44 birds. Avian flu is not caused by water conditions. Over 200 migratory geese in a wildlife refuge died this month. So it was not the water conditions, because you can't get better water conditions than a wildlife refuge. This outbreak has affected over 100,000 birds nationwide. It has spread to Lake Davis as well. It is heartbreaking when any animal dies. This has been personally very difficult for me as well. I've handled many of these swans and know them, and the swan named after me died as well. So this has been horrifying for me, and this has been very difficult. So if I came across as angry, part of grief is anger, because it's just been really hard to have a lot of accusations lobbed at you at something that you love. So it's been really a hard time for me too. We at the City of Orlando Parks Department will take input and make necessary improvements to the program to benefit the swans at Lake Eola Park. But the bottom line is this was an unavoidable tragedy. I hope we have a vaccine soon that we can administer to Lake Eola swans, but for now we're just going to have to let it take its course. It's tragic, it's awful, and I hate that it happened, but we will do right by our swans because they are the icon of our city, and they are beloved by many, many, many people in the city. Thank you, Mayor.